Vancha kalpadrubhascha kripasundabhevacha patitanam pavanibhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Let us first start this meeting today, during which we will be giving a summary of the marketing. Good morning, everybody. First, let's offer our obeisances to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who has brought us the great treasure of Krishna consciousness, painstakingly bringing it across the ocean and personally empowering others to distribute Krishna consciousness to every town and village. We're carrying on his work by his request, which is the most beneficial position to be in. Shushu Shro Shrodadhanasya Vasudeva Katarichi Syan Mahat Sevyavi Prapunya Tirtha Nishevanat. By serving those great souls who have pure love for God, one does great service. And by such service, one gains an affinity for hearing about the messages of Vasudeva. Thank you very much, everyone, for the good work that you're doing. We're at the threshold of bringing book distribution to new heights in the world, and it's good to take stock in how we're doing so far. One of the key principles that we've been working on is capacity and capitalization. When you have potential and you don't capitalize on it, you leave it and it stays fallow. However, if we recognize what potentials we have and we suggest simple ways in which we can take advantage of those potential talents and the energy that we have to serve Krishna, then we take full advantage of the human form of life. We want to develop in our organization the capacity to distribute millions and millions of books a month. Srila Prabhupada's vision was to cover the world. So today, it's to give some perspective to everyone who's interested in doing this work. After all, we're only here for a few years, and we've been given this great opportunity. So we're going to go through a slide deck. It's the exact same slide deck that I presented to the GBC body, as I've been doing for many years. Incidentally, the GBC of ISKCON mandates that the first presentation they hear every year is book distribution, how it's going, are we increasing, how are people being engaged, and so forth. Because they had decided many years ago, based on Prabhupada's liking for book distribution and also his penchant for always hearing first about how the books are going, and considering this to be the primary function of ISKCON, to make sure that the books are flowing out into the world. They've also adopted this system. So the following is a list of the points that I made to the GBC this year. I had only an hour and a half to present them. So this is a summary. There are many more items. First of all, please let's dwell on this picture, the first one, to start with, because it's an unusually beautiful picture of Srila Prabhupada. If you just notice his countenance, and for a moment remember Srila Prabhupada and how he inspired all of us to read his books, to practice Krishna consciousness systematically, and to give it to as many people as possible. Just think of his heart and what compassion he had in his heart. You also notice in the picture that he has a picture of his spiritual master just above him. He always kept this position that I'm only effective because I'm following the order of my spiritual master. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur had told him, his disciple, Srila Prabhupada, that he should preach in the West. And he also, Srila Prabhupada told us that I heard it from my spiritual master, and I understood that he's very fond of books. Next slide. When Prabhupada saw this logo, and you see the SWP and the can of paint, that's what's pouring down on the planet Earth. That's Sherwin-Williams Paint Company. And their logo says, "Cover the Earth." And Prabhupada saw that. He said, we should also consider this. To the right, you see the app, the Cover the Earth app. And this is an application that has passed the beta stage, and now we're suggesting it for all those who want to keep track of their books in real time and to be able to collate all their scores and also report them to the BBT. It's quite a well-designed app, and it's available to everybody now. So I suggest those of you who don't have it can try it. Here's the next slide. And please note that Costco was available to people in 14 different countries. Aramco in 19 different countries. Reliance in 23 different countries. However, during our Bhadra campaign, because we're working together as one world team, we were present on 41 different countries around the world for the distribution of Srila Prabhupada's books. How about what we're covering when we talk about cover the earth? From Berlin to Brazil. Okay, Berlin has 3.7 million people. Kampala, Uganda has 4.5 million people. Brasilia, 4 million people. During last year's campaign for Live to Give, we distributed worldwide as one world team in many, many different languages, 5.1 million Bhagavad Gitas. These are sample cities I picked, Ranchor picked. This is his genius. If we had distributed all of those just in Berlin, we would have more than exceeded all the population of Berlin with the number of books that we distributed in 2025. Same with Kampala, Uganda. Imagine one whole city covered with Bhagavad Gitas. That means covered means every person in the city. Or Brasilia, 4 million people. We exceeded that. So step by step, our campaign is covering the earth, and we need only discover more capacity so that we can see that during an annual schedule, we're trending towards 10 million, 25 million, 100 million Śrīmad-Bhāgavad Gitas and so forth around the world. And the more we increase capacity, the more we'll be able to cover all the places in the world. When speaking to the executive branch of ISKCON over many years and suggesting different ways that the GBC members could help, we came with a simple concept, and that is to advocate. When leaders of any stature within our organization advocate for book distribution, it resonates within the hearts of the devotees in general, all over the world. An advocate means a person who publicly supports or recommends a particular cause or policy. As a leader, all one has to do is say, book distribution is a good idea. These campaigns are a good idea. I support them. And any of you can testify to the fact that when you hear this, you feel inspired, because we all have to have a sense of mission. Srila Prabhupada said, the leaders should always create a fresh challenge so that all the members of the society want to rise up and meet it. And let's take a look at who can advocate. We'll look at that in a minute. But for now, I want to look at this next slide, please. Book points in Europe. The number of times the word book distribution was used in the RGB. I want to hear from Ranchor of his scientific process of how he created this chart. Go ahead, Ranchor.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. The European Regional Governing Body publicly publishes the minutes of their meeting. So our team analyzed how many times book distribution was mentioned in the minutes of their meetings. And we found that the more times book distribution was mentioned in the minutes of their meetings, consequently the scores were higher. And these meetings take place typically right before the marathon when most of the book distribution happens in Europe, showing therefore that advocacy and discussion amongst the highest leadership in ISKCON does in fact increase book distribution in our movement.
Thank you for that insight and using your scientific analyses to figure it out. Before I go any further, I also want to offer prayers for all the devotees in Madhya Purva Deshas. Is the Middle East. We have many, many devotees highly organized there. And obviously there's some stress in many of these cities where the devotees are slightly restricted in the way that they present Krishna consciousness. Nonetheless, they're greatly enthusiastic and contribute mightily to book distribution. And we pray to Srila Prabhupada, to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Gaura Nitai, Sri Panchatattva, Sri Prahlad Nrsimha. Please protect our devotees wherever they may be, especially right now in the very stressed areas of the Madhya Purva Deshas. And in case you can't figure that out, it's the Madhya means the middle, Purva Deshas, the Middle East. Hare Krishna. So advocacy is key. In leadership, what's making the difference is when leaders simply say, this is a good idea, please engage in it. It's not hard, but empowered speech moves the world. And let's look now at who can advocate. Here's a list, hopefully exhaustive, but if you have other ideas, you can let me know. Speaking positively, this is advocacy in practice. Speaking positively about book distribution to constituents. This is part of advocacy. Referring to books as central, not peripheral, to ISKCON's mission. 3, personally participating or visibly supporting campaigns. And 4, encouraging rather than pressuring. It's a great art to encourage rather than pressure. And we find that these 4 tenets of advocacy are highly effective. Now to the slide I've been so much mentioning without effect so far. Who can advocate? Number 1, GBCs. 2, gurus, temple presidents, zonal supervisors. 5, anyone who cares. In any position, whatever you may be in, if you advocate for book distribution, it will be helpful and effective. Notice that the word advocate has vak in it. Vak means to speak. It comes from Sanskrit. So say it. Speak about it. Make it visible. Our battle cry, when leaders advocate, devotees activate. We all have to go in a certain direction, and there's an old management principle called the Jericho principle that says that unless you reintroduce your mission every 30 days, then the people in your organization begin to drift. So pointing at the mission, having clear idea what we're doing and why we're doing it is vital for the mission. And at least every 30 days, if not more frequently, we have to speak about it, advocate for it. And devotees will definitely gravitate towards it. And now I'm going to have Shyam Bhakti, who's been working with her team on the book distribution course. This is a very important initiative to give training for all those who want to take up book distribution. That last slide was a resolution passed by the GBC some years ago about how everybody in ISKCON should take the training course. And Navina Nirada Prabhu has been, who many years ago was the book distribution minister, still teaches a version of this class in Mayapur every year. And now we're making it available online and to people all over the world in many different languages. So let's take a look at the Book Distribution 101, and Shyam Bhakti, who's been working on it with her team, will talk about it.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. So BBT MCI team is happy to announce that we have developed a book distribution course under the guidance of His Grace Vaisesika Maharaj. This course has 3 modules: beginner, advanced, and the advanced, and then we have leaders. The final one is for leaders and mentors. So basic, intermediate, and for the leaders. So whether you are completely new or you already have some experience, this course is going to offer you practical guidance, inspiration, and strategies to help us to connect with people in a more meaningful way. This course is also going to give us different tools, realizations, and strategies to do this service more effectively and smartly. So we warmly invite everyone in your congregation to take part. So please recommend and promote this course. We can find its link at distributebooks.com. It is available in more than 7 languages. So please help us by shouting it out. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Shyam Bhakti. Thanks for working on this relentlessly, methodically, and making it available. This is one of the factors for increasing capacity that we're finding, and that is that the more you give training to your local team, the more they're interested and apt to want to go out for book distribution. Because one of the reasons people don't go out for book distribution is because they're a little nervous and concerned about how they will distribute books. But once they have a template that's simple enough, they will feel emboldened to go out and distribute books. It also contains an element of how to interact with the public. For instance, our prime directive is to leave everyone with a good impression. After all, while we're out in public in such numbers, we meet people individually, and people also watch us as we're distributing. And as Vaishnavas representing Srila Prabhupada, the more we act in ways that are gentle and inspirational to people, the more our movement will come into a favorable light. So another aspect of our book distribution program is the follow-up. After all, we're out in public regularly. We're meeting those ripe fruits who are ready to take to Krishna consciousness. And when we have a follow-up system that allows us to immediately connect the people we're meeting to the practice of Krishna consciousness in appropriate ways, the more we'll expand capacity in our movement. We've put a few logos of some of the outreach programs on the left. This is just a sample list. The one I can speak about most readily is Bhakti Community that you see second to the bottom. And in this process, the devotees who go out on book distribution meet people and have immediate facility to invite them to come in to a community of those who are seekers. And it's also created in such a way that they feel comfortable and that the material is presented to them in a simple way, building context so that they can get involved in the practice of of devotional service. I'd like to welcome Brahmatirtha Prabhu and also Tredas Prabhu who have joined this call. Srila Prabhupada. Shamahini, please read the quote.
Yes, Maharaj. I am very much pleased that you are distributing my books so nicely. Every GBC member should be very much active in this way. Letter to Satsarup, January 5, 1976.
We included that quote for obvious reasons. If you remember that we're presenting this to the GBC body each year. And we talk about, and I did talk about mission-oriented management, and that is that when we manage without a clear idea of mission, then we tend to create bureaucracy, lots of rules and regulations, simply for the sake of organizing things without a clear goal becomes burdensome. So when we talk about mission-oriented management, first, have clear goals, especially for book distribution. There's effort-based, which means do the best you can. And there's also set a goal, write it down on a piece of paper, discuss it with your congregation, with all the devotees in the temple, and work on it together. It creates esprit de corps. And also it makes it clear why you're managing in the first place, because management in our society is meant to manage the results of our preaching. And now we'll present the annual campaigns. These are annuals that have been going on for several years now, during which we emphasize the distribution of particular books. So in 2025, from January 24th to March 18th, we had Be a Gardener. This is the time in which we focus on the distribution of the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. And I'll go into the numbers and how we've been doing with increasing the distribution of Chaitanya Charitamrita in just a moment. Just after Gaur Purnima starts the Bhadra campaign, which now most people know about all over ISKCON. There's a month during usually September of the year during which there's a full moon, and the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is especially called out this day to say on this day of Bhadra Purnima, one who gifts the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam to another receives the return gift of going back to the supreme abode. And this is called Goda Goloka. That goes until Bhadra Purnima, and just after Bhadra Purnima finishes, the focus goes to Live to Give. And Live to Give 25, we had great success this year. I'll talk about that in a minute. It's also included it's called the Prabhupada Marathon, as it has been traditionally for many years, during which devotees all over the world turn their attention to distributing the Bhagavad Gita as it is. And of course, there are many other books, and the devotees distribute those books as well, but these are the primary focuses during these times of the year. Because we want to make sure that the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, and the Bhagavad Gita are especially proliferated. The distribution of them is proliferated all over the world. It's so important to set goals. But why? As of what it makes of us to set them. Just yesterday, we were having a discussion at our local temple about how many sets of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatams we intend to distribute in 2026. And it's a deep consideration, because once we write the number down and ratify it, that means we have to do it. And as soon as you decide, as soon as you write the number down and you publish it and you make it a part of the community's activities, that's when all the energy starts flowing in. And in order to reach the goal, we have to increase all of our systems within the temple. That's what makes us grow. And that's the reason we grow, is to expand the preaching of Krishna consciousness all over the world, of which book distribution is the tip of the spear. Here's the logo for the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. And I'll show you in the next slide what it's looked like so far. This has been a little bit of a quiet campaign. The reason? It follows the Prabhupada Marathon, during which people are fully extended. What to speak of Bhadra, which is right before that. So we've been reticent to push it very vigorously. We just mentioned that this is the time when devotees have the opportunity to distribute Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita before Gaur Purnima. And as you can see, it's been consistent since 2019 to 2023. We had a big spike in 2024, and now we've settled into a good pace with increased capacity. In 2025, we did 3,370 worldwide. Now, this is a pretty big increase, because even before 2019, devotees around the world were not bringing the Chaitanya Charitamrita out that much. It was only distributed incidentally, but now it's being done purposefully. This is the verse from the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 12:13-13. If on the full moon day of the month of Bhadra, one places Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam on a golden throne and gives it as a gift, he will attain the supreme destination. This was a shot heard around the world, and has inspired this mighty campaign every year in which devotees all over the world participate in reaching greater and greater numbers of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatams distributed around the world. Our goal for 2026 is 100,008 Śrīmad-Bhāgavatams. This is not a new goal. We set this goal 5 years ago in 2021 and said by 2026, we will develop the capacity. We develop the capacity. We have the capacity to distribute worldwide at least 100,008 Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam sets. Go back one slide. How would we do this? With Jaladuta consciousness. Prabhupada got on a boat and came all the way to America with the expectation of spreading Krishna consciousness all over the world. His disciples, especially we think of the 3 householder couples who flew to London without knowing anybody there and really not having any resources or money, just like Prabhupada when he came to America. And if you read the book, Miracle on 2nd Avenue, I guarantee you'll be thrilled at every moment, and tears will come to your eyes when you read it. The way that the devotees followed Prabhupada's footsteps in Jaladuta consciousness, eventually establishing Krishna consciousness in London, meeting George Harrison, and then subsequently it spread all over Europe and around the world. The work of other disciples as well in many different places was equally daring and active in Prabhupada's service. When I read that book, I think, where have I been all my life? Let me try something daring and active. Otherwise, what's life for? It's not a prevent defense to just try to stay alive somehow or other. We should try to do something bold, because as Virgil said, fortune favors the bold. And if we develop this Jaladuta consciousness, each of us individually, and do our level best, we don't have to imitate anyone else, but we should feel that sense of spiritual anxiety that what can I do for Srila Prabhupada to help expand the movement? What risk can I take? then we'll be in a very good state of consciousness for taking shelter of Krishna. Okay, back to the goals. 2025, the goal was 68,000 Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam sets. And I'm going to take you through some maps that show the participation around the world. Oceania, which includes the Australian devotees, the devotees in Fiji, also New Zealand, you can see on the map. And each one of those cities are named where there's a center where devotees participated and distributed sets of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatams. Their 2025 score in Australia was 1,067. And then we go to the next slide, which is the Far East. And we have in Madhya Pradesh 1,028, Thailand 43, Nepal 137, Japan 20. Total of 1,228. Now we have Europe, please. 1,789. And you can take a look at the details below. Next, we come to Africa. Africa did 302 sets of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatams. We look at India. They did 27,741 sets of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatams. And they're divided into 4 regions because it's a behemoth. The whole country has so many devotees. For management purposes, during the marathons, they divided into 4. Then we come to South America. And in South America, they did 284 sets of Bhagavatams. Canada, we have 701. United States distributed 7,268 sets of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatams. You can eyeball the participants below. And the total we did for 2025 for sets of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatams worldwide was 40,381. Here's a global look in the next slide. You can see how each region did individually for sets of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatams. This is quite a big increase from pre-2017, where there was a smattering of Bhagavatams distributed around the world. But starting the campaign for Bhadra in 2018, there was a huge spike from practically nothing to, in 2018, as you see on the far left, 7,007 Bhagavatam sets with just a couple of participants. That was the birth of Bhadra that year. Second year, I was disappointed because we did a little bit less than the first year, even with vigorous effort. The next year, however, you'll notice was 2020, and that was the beginning of the pandemic. And under these severe circumstances, devotees rose to the occasion, and they distributed 24,195. Little backstory, we were struggling, at least I was, in anxiety because I thought, how are we going to get past this realm of 7,000? And during a midterm GBC meeting in Tirupati, India, I declared before the GBC and before the deities that we will distribute at least 10,000 sets of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatams worldwide in 2020. And that seemed like a big gamble. Little did I know, or any of us, that the pandemic would start. And I remember on my way back from India seeing people on the airplane wearing masks, some of them. And by March, it was clear that this is going to be a pandemic. Around that time, devotees, some of them said, we maybe have to sit this out. We can't really do anything this year. However, devotees innovated, and they found novel ways to shoot Śrīmad-Bhāgavatams even without being able to personally contact people. And we surprised ourselves. Our goal was 10,000, but we did 24,195. And the next year we proved it again by doing 35,000, then 45,880. And you can see how it's gone since then. Our goal for this year is 100,008. And I'll give you some statistics in a moment about how that's feasible. And now in our next slide, I would like our rancher, Prabhu, who's our statistician, to explain this slide for us.
Hare Krishna. So if we stack all the volumes of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam on top of each other, and line them all the way up, the height of that stack would be 436 times taller than the Burj Khalifa, which is the tallest building in the world. Just to provide
That
some
is all the
context.
books we distributed, right?
Just the Bhagavatam sets during the Bhadra Purnima campaign.
That's what I mean. All the Bhagavatam sets that we distributed in 2025, if you stack them up, it would be
Yes.
higher than the tallest building in the world.
Yes.
What will it be taller than when we do 100,000?
I'll get that to you, my
It'll be
short.
partway to the moon. Maybe block out the sun, which is what we'd like to do. Thank you very much, Ranchor. Our campaign for last year's marathon for Live to Give was Be Brave. And it was based on a conversation during a morning walk when Prabhupada had pointed out if you'll remind me the name of the building, Victoria Memorial?
Victoria Memorial. Yes, Maharaj.
Yeah, the Victoria Memorial, which is a large building that you can see for yourself in Calcutta. And Prabhupada had mentioned when they saw that, when they walked past it, that when he was a child, he had climbed the scaffolding as they were building it all the way to the top. And one of the devotees present there said, Prabhupada, you must have been very brave. And Prabhupada said, I am still brave. Otherwise, why have I come alone to the West to spread Krishna consciousness? And we thought, why don't we take this moniker, Be Brave? And that was what devotees exhibited, bravery, during last year's Bhagavad Gita marathon, is in various conditions around the world, some of them precarious. Devotees went out and distributed Bhagavad Gitas. And here's what it looked like around the world. We'll show the maps. Here's New Zealand, did 6,507. We have Australia at 31,623. Fiji, the mighty Fiji, although it's a small place, very few devotees there. We've seen their increases have been phenomenal. We take them as the leading indicator country. They did 3,266 Bhagavad Gitas in 2025. Africa, 15,189 in many different languages. Keep that in mind. Europe, Tradas Prabhu relentlessly keeping in contact. Divyanand Prabhu also working around London and various places, working as teams to enliven the devotees. Great advocacy from the GBC there, Pragosh and other leaders. They distributed 111,394 Śrīmad-Bhāgavatas. South America had a great year, 17,367 Bhagavad Gitas. USA, 221,046 Bhagavad Gitas. Canada, 26,116 Bhagavad Gitas. Far East, where you can't even go out in public and distribute, they distributed 84,060 Bhagavad Gitas. And India, 4,565,771 Bhagavad Gitas. Our goal was 4.6 million for last year. And I'm very proud to announce that we smashed the goal, and we also smashed a goal that we've been chasing for several years. We did 5,082,338 Bhagavad Gitas worldwide for 2025. Gaur Premanande. Just a note about Bhagavad Gitas as we go to the next slide, or any book distribution in the world. If we think about relative difficulty in various countries and how it is to distribute books, it's different in Kazakhstan than it is in Canada, and it's different in Uganda than it is in Thailand. There are various weather conditions, political atmospheres, availability of books. Some places it's very difficult to get books, and if you try to ship books, you can be arrested for it. And so everyone's doing the best they can. When we look at these numbers, it's really based on capacity, because every place tries to reach its highest capacity by increasing in various ways. Numbers of devotees involved, systems of inventory, keeping the prices as low as possible, training devotees, and so forth to go out. So we should consider all these factors when we look at the scores. Devotees doing the best they can in the circumstances they're in. And that's all we can do in each place. So congratulations to everybody who participated, either through advocacy or through going out and distributing books, or contributing through backup services or giving donations. And here we have a look at how the Bhagavad Gita campaign has been going since 2020. We did 2.1 million, and I remember at those times our goal was to come to 2 million Bhagavad Gitas. And whenever we mentioned that goal around the world, people were aghast and said, could we really do such a thing? And now just look, by cooperation around the world, by using simple principles to increase our capacity, working together and setting progressive goals, advocating vigorously for book distribution. In 2025, we smashed a goal that we've been chasing for many years, and we did more than 5 million Bhagavad Gitas. Congratulations to all the devotees who participated. One of the success principles that we mention frequently is that workarounds bring turnarounds. It's inevitable that we'll run into obstacles. But rather than becoming stymied by them, stalling in the face of obstacles, when we're flexible, when we look for workarounds, never making ultimatums, we oftentimes find better ways to do things. This happened most demonstrably during the pandemic, when it looked impossible, and devotees looked for workarounds, and they found methods that they'd never even thought of before. And look how we excelled. So if we keep this in mind, there is no obstacle that can stop us. We have to be like the Ganga, like water. Go around the obstacles, go under it, seep through it. Do what you have to do to expand the Sankirtan movement. And now we're going to have a look at a year of book distribution. The total number of books we distributed in 2025 worldwide, all of us, BBT books, 11,696,547 pieces of literature were distributed by the combined effort of sincere devotees all over the world working together. Congratulations, everybody. Now I'll let Ranchor explain the next slide.
Hare Krishna. So when we total the weight of all the books that we've distributed according for differing weights in small, medium, and big and Maha big books, and sum them up based off of WSN numbers, we find that the weight of all the DBT books distributed in 2025 equals the weight of 99 million gulab jamuns.
Haribo. I wonder who could eat all those at one time. I could only think of Kumbhakarna, or maybe Bhima. Bhimagaditos. Let's take a look at a few pictures from around the world. Devotees are taking out the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita everywhere. They're taking them to universities. They're going door to door. And look at on the street. People see the golden book and they hear about Lord Chaitanya and how he taught the principles of bhakti yoga. And you see the man in the center very joyously holding on to that set. It's a small set of books, but it's highly consequential. Recently, we read the whole Madhya Lila, and before that, we read the whole Antya Lila together in one sitting. And my impression after reading those, that these are so amazing, and they're so accessible to people all over the world. Everyone should have the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, and they'll take them. They're so happy to see the beautiful books and understand that there's a process that they can follow. Everyone should have these. Here's the next picture, which is self-explanatory, except that I'll add the caveat that after this picture became public, book distribution in Russia, the Bhagavad Gita distribution skyrocketed. We heard from Ambarishi Maharaj during one of our meetings that devotees went out in public were assailed by many people saying, "Where do I get that book? Where do I get that book?" A success principle Prabhupada brought up to Karandar Prabhu, one of the early leaders of the Krishna consciousness movement, when he talked about the art of management. He said that we should create fresh challenges. He said there should always be a fresh challenge so that devotees want to rise up and meet it. We're not just meant for maintaining, we want fresh challenges. And he also wanted to create within our communities a spontaneous, loving service. He said the service the devotees do should be individual, spontaneous, and voluntary. So this is the great secret for management, Prabhupada said. And here are a few special initiatives. I'm going to call in Jaladūta to talk about this new initiative that's really sweeping the world right now.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I'm speaking on behalf of a larger team of young devotees who are seeking to revive and expand a culture of youth book distribution in North America and across the world. So in 2025, to give a short update, we ran our first ever Global Youth for Book Distribution Day, where we had youth from 10 plus communities go out on the same weekend in different places across the world and distribute books, some for the first time. And now, these are some pictures you can see. And in 2026, our goal is to create many more events, both virtual and in person, to train and empower young people around the world. So we use materials from the Book Distribution 101 course, from the Sankirtan orientation seminars, and we're trying to, communicate them in a fashion that's relatable to the youth. So we have two main aims this year, which is to, one, increase our social media presence, because that's where many youth live today. And we want to share our content, expose them, educate, and empower them. And number two, have a network of youth book distributors, local youth leaders, and people who are ripe and inspired to take this mission up. So to conclude, I'll ask all the audience here, if you can kindly let us know, our team know, if you have youth who are ripe, interested, ready, or already doing book distribution, so we can make this network and empower the whole world to get back to youth book distribution. And I'll end by thanking Ranshore Prabhu for starting this initiative, our team members for working behind the scenes, the MCI team for facilitating us, and of course, most of all, Vaisesika Maharaj for being our absolute inspiration and guiding us to succeed. Hare Krishna.
Jaladūta Kripa Prabhu. Well done to you and your team, and thank you for Ranshore Prabhu for getting this started. Tell us how it went yesterday. You specifically went to a Mela, the Kirtan Mela in Washington, D.C., and how was the response from the youth there?
Yes, Maharaj, I'm sitting here now in DC, and it was fantastic. I didn't expect many people to come, but Srila Prabhupada was so kind that he sent between 30 to 40 young people from as little as 8 years old to as old as 28 years old. And they were boys and girls and young men and women, and they were very happy and open-minded to hear our messaging. And I even had some youth come up to me afterwards and saying they had brainstorm ideas for how to expand book distribution, starting with these Kirtan Melas where youth congregate yearly. So we're already in talks and we hope to do huge.
And how can people, say again, get in contact with you? I can see Patita Pavana there's already thinking. I can see the wheels turning in his head. He's thinking, let me get all the youth in my area. And Tradas Prabhu is always thinking like that. So what can they do to get the youth involved in the next youth book distribution day and get training and get mobilized?
Yes, the most practical way is to either reach out to Ranshur or myself. I'll put my WhatsApp number in this chat and you can feel free to contact me and I'm happy to get in touch. Also, we have an Instagram, if any of you use that, called BBT Youth. You can also message us there.
Is book distribution hard?
No, it's fun and easy.
What makes it so fun the way you do it?
Going out with friends, Maharaj, and having a good time, and then, having a plate of prasadam afterwards makes it quite fun.
Well, we see this as the next big wave because so many talented youth around the world, and now they have a forum, a way to work together and increase book distribution with measured results. Congratulations, all of you who are involved to launch this initiative. We look forward to seeing you thrive in all ways. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
The next PowerPoint, or I should say power principle for advancement, is to mention this mantra again and again. It's not what we do, but how we do it that counts. It's the mood in which we do our service. We wouldn't like to get results at the expense of our Krishna consciousness or at the expense of our relationships with devotees or with the public. However, the more we concentrate on the way we're doing things, making sure that we're doing them in a way that's pleasing to Krishna and Srila Prabhupada, which we can check in on at the last 6 verses of the 12th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, in which Krishna tells exactly the principles, the attitudes in devotees that he most appreciates. And if we apply those and remain Krishna conscious and depend on Krishna and the chanting of Hare Krishna, then the how will become readily apparent to us and we'll have great success. Kids Sankirtan. Jaladūta talked about youth Sankirtan. Kids rock. And it's a way, that is, Kids Sankirtan, book distribution, going out in a protected environment with adult supervision and giving the kids the opportunity, which they're readily and eagerly waiting for, to participate in this activity. You'll notice that they have their own innovations. They become enlivened. They notice how people are responding, and they learn so much by going out. They learn how to communicate to various kinds of people on the spot. They learn how to handle rejection. They see the 3 modes of material nature working, and they become very Krishna conscious. So we highly recommend these kids programs. There's more about it on distributebooks.com. Incidentally, these kids end up doing bigger than most people. And we always have them go out in teams, as you see them in pairs there. In the middle, you see in the pink outfit, that's Gita Priya. And they always, people like to give donations to kids, and they take big stacks of books, as you see is happening there. Okay, we have now ebook distribution. And Shamahini, I wonder if any of our devotees who are specializing in ebook distribution would like to say something here. We didn't discuss this earlier, but if there's somebody on.
Marge, maybe we can ask Malini Mataji to check in if she would like.
Malini's here. Okay, Malini, talk about ebook distribution. This is a very, very important point.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisances, Agrish Prabhupada. Prabhu, what we have seen is that the ebook distribution is going really well. What we found is a lot of people these days, especially youngsters, they like to read from a digital device rather than a physical device. And a lot of people who we used to approach earlier for physical Bhagavatam sets, and for some or the other reason we couldn't get them to take Bhagavatam now. Now it is almost conversion rate is previously if you used to get a conversion rate of like 20%, now the conversion rate is almost like 45%. So a lot of people are actually taking ebooks. And I think this will be very, very useful in our 100,008 Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam set goal. And I think we should continue, we should do more. And we also are planning to work on the infrastructure.
Tell about the infrastructure we have now. When you sell an ebook, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, what do you say and what do you do? How do they donate? How do they get the book?
So, Prabhu, we present them the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam like we do for a physical book. And if they say yes, then we actually have a form that they can fill out, their email address and their phone number. Phone number is just for a follow-up. All that we need is their email address. And we send them an email with a list of all the 12 cantos of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam with instructions on how to download and on different devices. And they're happy to make a donation also for these, Prabhu.
How can other people get involved in that if they want to start doing ebook distribution? What would be their first step in order to get that going in their area?
So we have Balmukunda Prabhu, who is advocating this and facilitating all of this, and we're also working to make this available through the BBT, local BBT. But in the meanwhile, they can start reaching out to Balmukunda Prabhu, and I can put the Balmukunda Prabhu's information here.
Shabahini, do you have anything more to say about the contacts we can make available for those who want to do ebook distribution?
Marge, we have a group, WhatsApp group dedicated for supporting communities who want to do book distribution, the ebook distribution. I'll put the link up for that as well in the chat.
Okay, make sure you copy these links. All you have to do is step into them, and next thing you know, you'll be facilitated and you're going to increase your book scores dramatically, and you'll find a whole new avenue to give people Prabhupada's books. Thank you very much. We noticed here in the slides that for ebook distribution, just during the last campaign, we distributed 715 Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam sets through electronic means. And we also distributed 10 sets of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. That's slide number 70. Just now coming. Takes a minute to get it back up there. That's the scores, Brihat Madanga. And then we talk about Arabic books. We have a team called ARPAR, specifically to support Arabic and Farsi book distribution around the world. Prabhupada made this statement to the leader of the Arabic distribution. I put my head on the dust from the feet of whoever preaches in the Muslim countries. And this is a priority we're making. In fact, you get extra points for distributing Arabic and Farsi. Do we have any Arabic and Farsi team members on today, Shamohini, who want to say something?
Right, I'm just going to check.
This is a shout out to any of the ARPARs.
No,
Well,
Marge.
let's look at the logo, the next one. We can just say that there's also a WhatsApp group for those of you who want to get trained in Arabic book distribution. It's really humming now. Devotees are making stacks for these books. There's also specific places you can go to distribute them. And people are very open to this. So maybe put a link where devotees can join the WhatsApp group and get more information about Arabic and Farsi on our website, and get trained and learn how to do it. Here's the number of centers around the world distributing Arabic books. In 2017, there were only 9, and now in 2025, there are 51. And that's just the beginning. We're only getting started there. We would like to see this increase by 5-10-fold. This is a viewing of the gradual increase of the Arabic book points between 2017 and 2025. And a few in the next slide. Oh, Arabic book points without LA. Anyway, Rancher, you can explain that.
Hare Krishna. So we wanted to identify and siphon off LA from the targets because LA is a large center. They had a few devotees that really pushed in 2024. That was a special initiative that they had. And they're continuing to go at a different pace, but we wanted to see that the rest of the world also increased by 15% without LA. So it's not just LA that's pushing Arabic Sankirtan. The whole world is increasing on the whole.
Thank you. Okay, Shamahini, explain this slide, please.
Yes, Maharaj. The next steps for the Arabic and Farsi team, our PAR team is to identify demands for titles, which titles resonate mostly with the Arabic and Farsi audience, and to prioritize translations, which books to translate next and publish, and then have targeted follow-up, which is in tune with the needs of this specific audience. These are the next steps as we develop the RPAR team.
So stay tuned and tune in to the distribution of Arabic and Farsi books by joining ARPAR. Next, we have a plethora of ways in which the Arabic Farsi books are being distributed. Door to door is fantastic. I've done it myself. The Muslim people in general are very accommodating and happy to see people who are distributing literatures in their languages. We see there are festivals specifically for people who speak Arabic or Farsi. There are businesses where you can meet people. You see there the person with a shop on the far left and a business in the second to the left. And devotees are finding a great receptivity amongst these people. Next, we have Shastra Mandala. Shastra Mandala is a club that anyone can join to get the new influx of Goswami literatures, which is coming from the BBT. Coming up next is a 5-volume set of the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. They've been working on it for about 5 years. And that will be available first to those who are part of Shastra Mandala. We'll put a link for where you can join Shastra Mandala in the chat box. There are other books coming out soon: Dhanakeli Kaumudi, Lalita Madhava, Jaiva Dharma, Bhagavat Sandarbha, Paramatma Sandarbha, etc. BBT is working on all of these in order to have a standing in the marketplace of all the Goswami literatures to BBT standards available to everybody all over the world. So you can check for that and find out more about it. Part of our mandate as the MCI, which is Marketing, Communications, and Innovations, as an innovation team, we're finding we have a team that's scouring the world to find out what's working well. And they're documenting that on our website, distributebooks.com. So if you want to see what kinds of things are working, what kinds of innovations are out there, you can go to the website and check out the link for the innovations team. We'll put that in the chat box also. And also, we've been working with the Bhaktivedanta Institute, especially we have an envoy named Mayank Prabhu, who's been working with Brahmatirtha and others to identify the excellent writings that these scholars, scientists are coming up with from the BI that will be appropriate for mass distribution through the BBT at college campuses and or anywhere around the world. And we're very excited about that. Keep your eyes peeled for upcoming titles. A few of them we've listed here that will be chosen to go out, be available for us to distribute in various circumstances around the world. Coming soon to a book table near you. Another power success principle is that it's not a mystery, it's a recipe. In fact, I just heard yesterday a talk by Malcolm Gladwell, and he was talking about how geniuses don't necessarily succeed. It's by systems that people succeed. When you have the right system, doesn't matter who you are, if you're smart enough to follow it, then you'll be successful. There are definite, traceable, quantifiable ways in which, by following a certain system, you can increase book distribution unlimitedly. We have the 4 laws of book distribution, for instance, and for those who need a refresher. The first law is your sadhana must be strong. We emphasize this first. In fact, the first time I ever met Prabhupada in 1973 in San Francisco, I was part of a fledgling book distribution team there. Our temple president had told Prabhupada, as we were sitting there, what our book scores was. And the first thing Prabhupada said to us is, you must also read my books. I have not written them, he said, just for selling. I've written them for you to read, become pure devotees, and go back to Godhead. The next law of book distribution is you have to get books. Make sure you have inventory. Make sure they're available wherever you live. If you live in a van, if you live in a house, if you live in a temple, plump up your inventory and take really good care of them. Make sure they're available to everybody. The third law of book distribution is the more you show, the more you sell. They don't necessarily sell themselves if you leave them in boxes in the warehouse. If you take them out and show them, people will take them. Number 4 is you must organize. I mentioned a few organizational principles, but there are many more. You can read about some of them in the book called Our Family Business, things that have worked extremely well. You can also peruse our website. Prabhupada said in a letter in 1973, I like also your program of sending out your best men to teach others. And this is the introduction of the Global Portfolio Sankirtan, Success by Design. And do we have someone who can speak about this, Shamahini? Yes, we have Nikunja Nayaka, one of the pioneers of this program. Give us a brief outline of how this is working and what it entails.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my respectful obeisances, all glory to Srila Prabhupada, obeisance to all the devotees here. So Guru Maharaj and devotees, this is Global Portfolio Sankirtan. The intention of this project is very simple. It's like if any community or individual out there has a eagerness or interest to increase book distribution or be participant in Sankirtan, then they must get all support from the experts. And Global Portfolio Sankirtan does that by having, as Maharaj already said, success is a design. So we already have a design, strategies, goal settings, ideas, and trainers who are actually experts who have been in this for decades, ready to provide all the help that can one needs. So it's a platform for anybody who wants to be increase their Sankirtan. They can reach out to GPS, and then we can work together in increasing the book distribution. So that is the essence of Global Portfolio Sankirtan. And to just execute this, it's only in 4 steps. First is we assign consultant. It essentially means it's a representative from GPS who will be in contact with you. And so we do baseline analysis. So we look at what's going good in the community, the opportunities, and how we can improve. And then we set goals, because that's what we makes us. And so we set goals, and we also divide into intermittent goals aligning with the campaigns like Bhadra, Gardener, be a gardener, Bhadra, and also Live to Give campaigns. And finally, ongoing consultation. It means it's not just we come there, train, and leave alone. It's more like a continuing collaboration, so that if there is anything lacking, anything support is needed in terms of organization, any part of any help is provided to ongoing consultation. So these are just simple 4 steps. If any community, any individual you see want to be trained, want to be participant in the Sankirtan, in this yajna, please consult us, GPS Global Portfolio Sankirtan. You can consult me or Shyam Bhakti Mataji, and we would give you all the information.
Thank you very much, Nikunjanaika. Portfolio, just like in a mutual fund, certain devotees who will be specifically trained to consult with others will have one or more temples in their portfolio, and we'll see how they're doing, just like you see how a portfolio manager is doing in a mutual fund who has a conglomeration of funds. And so we're looking like this to give support to everybody who wants it around the world to get in the system so that they can use all the best practices and be coached as much as possible. In the overall scheme of things, we have various leaders around the world. Nutama Prabhu in Canada, painstakingly working regionally to check in on all temples. We have Nandini Kishori Devi Dasi in the United States. And we're expanding in the United States, bringing in various people on the team to work regionally. Like recently, we added Patita Pavana Prabhu. He's a prolific book distributor and one of the leading brahmacharis in book distribution in Texas. He'll be working regionally there. We also have Divya Anand Prabhu, who will be working in certain areas of America. And we have South America, Nrsinga Kripa Prabhu. In UK, Divyanam Prabhu. Continental Europe, Tredas Prabhu. Russia, His Holiness Ambarishi Swami. Africa, Tirumala Devi Dasi. India, we have the ICC Book Distribution Committee because it's such a huge place. We're working with them. In Madhya Purvadesh, we have Naikatma Prabhu. In Fiji, we have Rukmini Mohan Prabhu, not Devi Dasi. We have New Zealand, Bhavasundhi, Devi Dasi is true. Australia, Vilas Mandri, Devi Dasi. Just erase that thing before we show it to Rukmini Prabhu. Okay, any other points you want to make about that, Shamohini, as far as delegating authorities and responsibilities around the world?
Marge, I just want to add that in Team USA, Chaitanya Nitai Nam Prabhu is also part of the expansion of the different regional book distribution representatives. I just want to thank all these leaders who are taking responsibility to organize the book distribution campaigns in their respective areas. They often collect pledges for different campaigns, report back the scores, and through their cooperation, we're actually all able to work as a one world team, connecting with all the different centers around the world and sharing best practices and learning from each other. Thank you.
How could I have forgot Chaitanya Nitai Nam Prabhu? Yes, and that brings up another very important point, and that is that scores are very important. You know, getting scores in on time, making pledges on time, reporting them, that keeps the ship sailing. Because if we're going to measure it, we should take it seriously. Actually get your scores in, try to count everything carefully, appoint somebody to help so that you have a well-oiled machine going on there and don't leave any score behind. Make sure you keep it tight, because that's what one of the reasons devotees stay enlivened is they're able to see their growth. We have the benefits of one world team that creates esprit de corps, and we're looking for a baseline this year, getting to 100,008 Śrīmad-Bhāgavatams. And here's where we're going on the Badger campaign. This is what it looks like. And here's the next slide, which shows how we can do it. I mentioned this earlier. Between 2019 and 2020, we went from 6,543, as you see on the left, to 24,195. That was a 279% increase in 1 year. Now we're at 40,381 sets of Bhagavatams. We're gonna hit 100,008 this year with everybody's work together as a team worldwide. That's only 148% increase. That means it's doable. We have to have that in our mind, not only that it's doable, we should assume that it can be done and then work backwards from there, and we will do it. And we will celebrate in such a big way by offering that to Prabhupada in 2027. That's what we're going to bring him as a gift from all of us. So, as we summed up our presentation to the GBC recently, know your campaigns. If you're a leader, you should know these campaigns and make sure that the congregation and everybody in your community is engaged in them. Remember also that success is a recipe. It's not a mystery. You follow the recipe, I guarantee you'll be successful. And above all, advocate. And remember that birds fly in the sky as high as they're able, but the sky's unlimited. So wherever you are, the main point is your capacity. Are you doing the most that you possibly can? That's most important. And finally, Prabhupada said, I blindly follow my Guru Maharaj. I do not know what is the result. So I'm stressing on this point of book distribution. He told me this personally. This is such an invitation because Tvatpada potena mahatkritena kurvanti govatsapadam bhavabdim. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. If you want to be successful, follow the Mahat. We have the Mahat. Who's better than Srila Prabhupada? And he already told us, distribute books. So just let's do it. But let's do it in a way that astonishes the animals of the world, the leaders of the world, the air, the water, the sky. They should all be astounded and hair standing on end that what did these people do during this period of time when the world seems to be unsure of itself? People don't know which way they're going. Be bold. Invest your life's energy in reading Prabhupada's books and distributing them around the world. There is no better thing. You can pull out all the classics. I found a box of classic books in my attic yesterday. I'm cleaning out all my stuff, getting down to fighting weight here. And, I looked at them all. I even asked ChatGPT, what do you think of all these books? And ChatGPT knows me well. And he said, you don't need these books. You don't need any of them. He said, yeah, you already have Bhagavad Gita and Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. I swear, that's what it said to me today. We don't need anything else. Be focused. Yavase atmika buddhir ekeha kuranandana. Just focus on the goal and work towards it methodically. Let's do something beautiful. And another point, for various points of view within our great ISKCON society, the great unifier is book distribution. And if we concentrate on preaching and trying to save the conditioned souls, starting with myself, Jive doya Krishnanam sarva dharmasar, this is our mission statement, really, is to show mercy to others. Whatever way it takes to show mercy to the fallen conditioned souls, let's just do that. Because that was Lord Chaitanya's program. He even went to the house of a drunkard who offered him wine. He said, here, have some of the bliss drink. Mahaprabhu asked Nityananda, what is the bliss drink? And he said, I think he means wine. And Mahaprabhu said, let's get out of here. And they jumped in the Ganges and floated away. He knew where he was going, but he went there to give association. So we should do that. And that's where the ecstasy is. That's where the advancement is. Let's see if there's any comments before we sign off.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I have a question regarding e-book distribution. So when we distribute a Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam set in e-book, do we have the same book points as hard books? Is that reasonable to have?
Yes. Any other question?
No,
Dear Srila Prabhupada, dear Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shri Shri Panchatattva, Shri Shri Gaurnitai, Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan, Shri Shri Radha Govinda, Shri Shri Radha Gopinath, Shri Shri Lakshmana Shringadev, if you so desire, please enliven us to follow the footsteps of Srila Prabhupada and his earliest disciples who went boldly forward to spread Krishna consciousness despite any obstacles, considering only what was the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead coming through his empowered representative. Please give us the ways and means to smash our goals this year, specifically the goal of 100,000, distributing at least 100,008 Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam sets worldwide, so we can offer it to your lotus feet. Please let us overcome all obstacles and work together and ride to victory so we can offer this to you. Thank you very much for considering our request. Om Tat Sat. Everyone agrees with this prayer, in whole or in part, and is ready to go out as warriors. Please unmute and say Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare
Do big, everybody.